Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm John Boughton. Today, I will be countering Madison's debate and informing you on why China is a security threat, not only to the US and China's own region, but to the world as a whole. If you would like to watch Madison's debate, I'll link it in the description. The four main points I will be making to my counter-argument today are 1. Why a bipolar world system is far more stable than a multipolar world order. 2. How China is destabilizing factor in the world. 3. China's no first use of force myth. And 4. The US and China economies and how they are interlinked. The first point that I'll be making is that a bipolar system is far more stable than a multipolar world order. It's much more likely for a power to make a wrong move when dealing with so many world powers, or for someone irrational or with an irrational agenda to take power, such as Iran launching missiles at Saudi Arabia and almost starting a war. When there are only two countries or groups with real world-shaping power, it means they can have more impactful and meaningful dialogue. My second point is that China is a destabilizing factor in the world. While there are not many reasons for Communist China to militarily attack the US unprovoked, they are, however, unblinkingly focused on Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Tibet, which could lead to World War III if they decide to invade one of those. In China's 2019 National Defense White Paper, China says that China must and will be reunited. We will make no promise to renounce use of force and reserve the option of taking all necessary measures. They go on to say that the PLA will resolutely defeat anyone attempting to separate Taiwan from China and safeguard national unity at all costs. Now, as we know, Taiwan is currently its own country, but from what they have said in this white paper, they are willing to attack Taiwan to bring it back into the fold of Communist China if that's what they need to do to reunite China. China also has a number of border territory disputes with many countries, including Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, India, and Vietnam. Not to mention how Communist China is a destabilizing factor in Hong Kong with the civil rights and human rights violations abuse in Hong Kong, as well as citizens protesting and marching to get freedom back from communism and try to get their basic human rights back as well. There's also the issue of China's IP theft. In a CNN article, it was reported by the United States Trade Representative, which led a 7-month investigation into China's intellectual property theft, that Communist China theft of American IPs currently costs between $225 billion and $600 billion annually. That's over $500 billion that are lost from China stealing intellectual properties from the US itself and United States corporations and businesses. There's also the issue of China building 11 dams on the Mekong River that are causing droughts and affecting food security in Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Thai rice, fruit, vegetables, and inland fisheries, their yields have dropped by a third along the Mekong River. And in Cambodia, their main source of protein has dwindled as a result. And in Vietnam, in the Mekong Delta, seawater is entering parched outflows further and further as a lack of fresh water flowing through there. This has led to some of the countries I just mentioned considering suing China in the International Court of Justice for billions of dollars. My third topic is China's no first use of force myth. In their white paper, China is quoted as having said, "China must and will be reunited." They're also in the same paper, they said, "China has the firm resolve and the ability to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity, and will never allow secession by any part of its territory by anyone, any organization, any political party, or by any means at any time." In a recent article from Reuters as well, one of the country's most senior generals is quoted as saying, "China will attack Taiwan if there is no other way of stopping it from becoming independent." So this is quite counter to the myth of China's no first use of force, as they have already stated that they are willing to use force to take back Taiwan if that is what they must do. My fourth and final point that I have to make is on the Chinese and U.S. economies. This has presented two main issues. The first is that the coronavirus has proved that it is a large weakness of the U.S. to have its economy so closely linked with one country, and an enemy country at that. The U.S. has lost billions of dollars and hundreds of lives since the pandemic hit from not being able to get products or life-saving medical supplies shipped from China to stores and hospitals in America. Because of this, it has been demonstrated during the COVID-19 outbreak that it is unwise to have all your eggs in one basket or all your manufacturing in one country. And this has led the U.S. and multinational corporations to start an effort to slowly decouple from China and find other places that they can move their manufacturing to, so they have a more diverse base and they don't have all of their manufacturing and products coming from one country. The final issue that I have for today is that China has been using its fastly growing economy to spend more money on its military. China was spending just under 200 billion yuan in 2003 on its military. However, in 2019, it is reported that they now have spent over 1,150 billion yuan per year on its military. So to conclude, I have discussed why a bipolar system is far more stable than a multipolar world order, how China is a destabilizing factor not only in its own region but in the world as a whole, China's no first use of force myth, and the China and U.S. economies. I'd like to thank you to listening to my counter-argument, and I'd like to have any feedback that you have. Thank you for your time.